right, Ambitions fans. I know I'm late, but better late than never. I just finished watching episode 7 and 8, Poison and Wine. And episode 8 was Backstabbers. This video is going to be Poison and Wine. Follow up from Stephanie being overdosed and passing out at the end of episode 6. Now, this episode, off the top, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I think it was a pretty solid episode. Kept my attention from start to finish. Sometimes I forget how much time passes by in the episode because I was looking at the clock during the episode, not out of boredom, but because I'm like, dang, there's a lot of stuff going down. I'm surprised it all fits within the span of about 42 minutes. But just to kind of pick up where we left off here, Evan finds Stephanie. She is able to retain her consciousness. She's a bit, slowed down, obviously. Instead of calling an ambulance, she has a personal doctor or physician, if you will, that came over to the house to check on her to see exactly what she was drugged with. And Titus and Amara, they talk for a bit. Basically, it's the morning. They're getting ready for work. She got a voicemail from Roderick about a meeting. And, of course, they have some pre-work sex. And Damien is watching via his hidden cameras. Then we jump over to Thelma's place. Carly comes over. It looks like after the events of her and her mom falling out in the last episode, she goes to stay with her aunt and grandpa. And that's pretty interesting. I think, if I'm not mistaken, isn't this like the first episode where we see that Thelma's place is pretty much, within like the same building as where Senior and Rondell stay, if I'm not mistaken. It's kind of like, hey, upstairs is where the bedrooms and all the other rooms are, which is pretty cool for a family business. And before she can actually even say exactly why she stayed over, she gets a message and immediately rushes back home to see if her mom's okay. I was under the impression that when she saw her phone and freaked out, I was thinking, what if that girl that was at the poetry slam posted the photo of Lori and Carly that, you would suspect she would post that photo, and then it might go like semi-viral within Atlanta. Atlanta, because that's like the I guess you could say the heiresses of the Purefoy and Carlisle dynasties seen kissing in public. So it's like, ooh, like that. So I thought that was the reason Carly freaked out. But no, she goes home, sees how her mom's doing, and let's see here. It turns out it was opioids with a little bit of other substances put into her drink, and Evan was suspicious, asking, are you taking drugs? Basically because Stephanie's sister overdosed, so he just wanted to be cautious about it. And the thing is, Stephanie is convinced that Lori is the one that drugged her. And one of my favorite lines of the episode, the world doesn't stop because my heart almost did. That was a very well delivered line by Robin Gibbons there. And it's so true. Not to kind of segue or get too personal. A few months ago, my aunt on my mom's side passed away. And in the midst of the planning for the funeral and everything, it's just one of those things where, and again, I don't want to get too personal. I remember as a kid being afraid of dying, but then as I got older, it was more of a fear of being forgotten. And it's just one of those situations where once you get older, sadly, you realize your family members get older as well, and you're living your own life, and it's almost like there's hardly time to grieve because, when not a lot of things financially are set up, you have to figure out how to do this and that before the funeral. And then as soon as the funeral is over, it's kind of like you got to get back to your life. It's really sad. So Stephanie made a good point. It's like, just because something happens, it's like those like motivational pictures. I think the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson said this, and it's been floating around for years now. It's like, don't work yourself to death over your job, because if you die tomorrow, they'll have a job posting for your position before an obituary comes out. And that's something that resonates with me. So, yeah, that's just, I'm sorry. Titus gets a visit from, I believe, Adrian. I believe it's someone from like the lower tier of Purefoy company. And it was implied that, opioids from the company are targeting, I guess you could say, poor districts for African Americans to make them addicts, where it seems specifically that African Americans becomes addicts of the medication that Purefoy puts out in order to make a profit. So pretty much like experimental on blacks, because they know they'll find a way to get the drugs in order to make money. And it was something that was very suspicious, because Adrian just, ducked out of the room as soon as possible, because it's almost like he was giving some info to Titus, but he didn't want to tell too much, so he left. Look, and when I do these episodes reviews, they'll be all over the place, because this show jumps. It's like it doesn't waste a moment. So we're at Thelma's place, and Evan comes to ask about Carly. Wait a minute, hang on. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. We're at Thelma's place. Evan comes over, talks with Rondell about what was going on with Carly, and even more importantly, Rondell needs to talk with Evan about Senior's blackouts, if you will. And then from there we go to Bella and Roderick. Damien comes over, pretty much following up on, hey, we need you to come in for some questioning. And we pretty much get to a situation where, you know what, Roger's going to make up a lie about Mayor Lancaster, saying that, he was sleepwalking and he fell. That's how he got that injury on his eye. And then he makes up some bogus story about the mayor supposed to be coming on his show. He was a major fan, but then he dipped out on him at the last second. And that's why he, slandered him on the news. Damien was quick to see that, he was holding his ribs like he had been beaten up. And Karen, Amara, and Damien try to, will look deeper to figure out exactly what's going on. But right before that scene, Titus and Stephanie are in a pre-trial conference, and I believe Titus was expecting a judge Waite or Watts. I can't remember the name, but that wasn't the situation. They're basically trying to chew each other out. It goes nowhere. And then let's see. Rondell sees Senior with Lorraine, and that was hilarious. That was just hilarious. But unfortunately, things took a turn for the worse when it seemed like Senior needed to go to the hospital, and I believe it was said he has TIA, which is like a mini stroke. And when Lorraine puts on her church hat and leaves, I lost it, because Senior was stubborn and didn't want to take his medication. Because of the side effects that would affect his love life. No need to go any further from there. Roderick visits Evan, basically following up on the blackmail. We know it's about $750,000, along with the airport concession stands, pretty much saying, hey, you know what? Bella's going to be the middleman in this transaction. I'll give her the drives. You give the money in that order. Then we're good to go. And basically we go to another scene. Stephanie and Carly talking with each other. The most interesting part about this is, Stephanie tells Carly early in the episode that, hey, I don't care about your I guess you could say your sexuality doesn't matter to me, which is pretty interesting. I may need to do a video on that. And I guess you could say we move forward with Stephanie being convinced that, and the crazy thing is, Carly says, I love her. You can't tell me who to love. I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. How long has it been since you two have been seeing each other? Love is such a... Well, then again, that maybe goes to show how Lori is the more experienced, conniving person in the relationship, while Carly's the one who's being used and manipulated. So you can also argue that, if I'm not mistaken, Lori might be the first girl Carly's been with, so it makes sense that she'll be the one to fall quicker than Lori does. So that's a conversation for another time. Let's see. Yeah, Stephanie confronts Lori, convinced she's the one that drugged her. Titus gets her to leave. Let's see. I already talked about Damien and Amara visit a Herschel, I believe, like a permit officer who signs permits, and basically they pretty much get the evidence that, hey, you know what, Greg Peters has been paying you off. So his permits could be, I guess you could say, move faster through the transaction. And they pretty much spook him. They bring the intel to Karen. They kind of reminisce over the fact that, hey, we worked together as a team back in the day. And they both say that Daphne may be the key to getting to Lancaster. Let's see. Titus calls. Damien leaves. Lori calls Titus. They have a decent talk for once about, hey, you know what? I did some digging, and based on what Adrian was saying, yes, the Purefoy company does not specifically target African Americans to make them addicts. And then they asked about the whole situation with drugging Stephanie. Lori denies it, and it seems like they were having a nice talk for a change. But then, when he makes a comment about, hey, let me finish this work so I can go home to see my wife before dinner time. And it's like, oh, yeah, Titus and Amar Hughes, all-American couple. And it's like, there was a bit of shade in that. So then we get to Bella and Roderick. And this is like the saddest part of the episode, because I knew we couldn't trust Bella, or should I say Roderick shouldn't trust Bella. It was all a setup. The drives were given over. Evan comes out with his goons, and Roderick leaves in shame. I feel bad for the guy. He lost everything. Let's see. Valentina was supposed to come over and pretty much give an exclusive deal with Bella to work for her fashion company. She's happy about it. That was crazy. That is crazy. Hang on, let me look at my notes real quick. I think Oh, there we go. I'm sorry. I couldn't read my own writing. I apologize. Carly goes to see Lori and pretty much confronts her about poisoning her mom. She denies it. They have a sweet moment, even though we know that Lori's playing her. Evan goes to see his dad. And I love and this is something I thought was hilarious. So basically, he's about to go on a date with Lorraine, and they pretty much, talk about, hey, we're just checking in on you. You're our dad. We love you. Take your medicine, please. And he says he does. And they're going to like an aquarium, and Lorraine makes a comment about, I forgot, like whales or something like that. And he's like, you really need to watch the Discovery Channel more. I think that's funny because now recently I learned that Discovery owns a major portion of the OWN network. So the fact that she made a nod to the Discovery Channel, I thought was hilarious. And I love documentaries in the Discovery Channel, so that's great. And let's see, I believe the last thing is Damien creeping on Amara and Titus. Pretty much Amara telling the truth about the fact that, hey, and I like how, and this is pure Amara, she pretty much asked about Stephanie and Titus in their meeting today in court, but then leans into the, hey, me and Damien have to work together. Karen made us do it. I'm forced to do it. I'm sorry. And he appreciates the fact she was being honest, but when she's asleep, he takes the laptop, looks up Damien's address, pretty much trying to get all the intel on his past and whatnot. And that's the end of the episode there. And I believe if you look closely, Damien is sniffing Amara's panties. I believe the same ones he was admiring when she was in the shower and he snuck into the house. So he didn't leave there empty-handed. So overall, I think it was a pretty solid episode, 8 out of 10. Not to jump too far into episode 8, and I'll talk about it when I get there more, but we really didn't get any leads on who actually poisoned Stephanie. I believe she told Evan to get her people to go down to the event location of the Women's Power Summit and find out about anything involving the bar, if there was any shady business, because I honestly think Lori didn't do it. Some people were telling me that Stephanie's mother may have been the one to have the drink poisoned. So what do you think about that? As always, sorry, I'm rustling the paper here. As always, the cast look amazing. Lori, beautiful in every episode, as well as the other female characters, and the men looking sharp in the suits. I just, like I said before, I felt bad for Roderick. He pretty much lost everything, and he told Bella, I was going to make a backup drive, but you know what? I didn't want to put you and Hakeem in danger. So I'm like, man, that's messed up. He lost everything. So with that being said, 8 out of 10. I think it was a very fine episode. I wish I would have watched it sooner. And with that being said, make sure you take a moment to hit that subscribe button. Let me know your thoughts on the episode in the comment section below. If there was anything I missed, forgive me. Like I said, the thing about Ambitions is the fact that it does not slow down. Like, you need to give it your full undivided attention. Like, I haven't had to write notes this fast since I was in, like, high school, and the teachers had projectors. Yeah, I'm talking projectors, not PowerPoints, but projectors. So with that being said, guys, please take a moment, hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and if you haven't done so already, I would highly recommend checking out Ambition. So thanks so much for tuning in. And yeah, I will see you in the episode 8 review, Backstabbers. Congratulations on making it to the end of this video. If you like what you just saw, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, or if you have anything you would like to add to the video, make sure to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. If you want to keep up with me on social media, go to the description box. All of my links for social media are right there. Also, if you feel like you would like to donate to the channel, make sure to click on the link to PayPal. Any amount helps. $1, $5, $20. As a full-time YouTuber, any support from my fans really does mean a lot to me. Finally, make sure to hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification icon. That way you're kept up to date on any new content I post to the channel. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you in the next video.